Great Ogoni people, great. Great Ogoni people, you just listened to Ogoni Liberation song. It's a pleasure again to talk to you today. Last time I talked on what I call the three forms of violence and how it operates in Nigeria. So I talked about how cultural violence lays a foundation for structural violence, and how structural violence also lays the foundation for direct violence, and how it's all been perpetrated in Nigeria against the indigenous people. Today I want to talk about self-preservation. You see, self-preservation is just the protection of one from death or from harm. When it is a basic instinct in every human, even animals, that we have to preserve ourselves. We have to think of survival. We have to see how you can protect yourself from being killed or being harmed. So it is natural that both man and animal have that instinct of how to preserve oneself. So I want to talk about it because it is very, very important that as an individual, you also want to protect yourself. And that's why you go out daily. You don't want to go hungry. You don't want to die. You don't want to get into trouble. So you find a way to protect yourself. Now, as a community or as a nation, you also have the right to protect yourself. And as an Ogoni person, the ills that has been done to Ogoni people is so much that if we don't continue to think of how to preserve ourselves, the Ogoni ethnic nationality will be wiped out of this world. You see, as an Ogoni person, I see a lot of, I go through a lot of pains when I see what is going on in my land, what has happened and what is still going on. It is a pity. So look at our land has been polluted, and a polluted land gives you trouble. There is no how you can live on a polluted land. The water is polluted, and when the water is polluted, according to UNEP report, the water that is polluted is over 900 times more than the acceptable standard by the United Nations. The water has benzene in it, which is cancerous substance. So the life of Ogoni people is at risk because the water is polluted, the land is polluted, the atmosphere, everything, ecosystem is polluted, the fish you eat from the sea. So your life is at risk, and that is why we must see a way to preserve ourselves. Self-preservation. As a nation, we must find a way to preserve ourselves. And we've been on this race because Kensaruwa were built up from where Birabi stopped. And Kensaruwa was able to shoot Ogoni again into the sky. And Ogoni was known all over the world. But we seem to have abandoned pursuing the object, and we are now pursuing the shadows. And when you keep pursuing the shadow, you will discover that everything will look like mirage because you cannot grab the real thing. I want to just review one or two things that has just happened in the past month. Do you know that Ken Saro-Wiwa in the January 1993, Ogoni people was admitted into UNPO, the Unrepresented Nations and Peoples Organization. It is a body that advocates for the those who want independence, self-determination, or autonomy. They are also a consultancy, organization. So Ogoni people, there is no nation. Just go and check. Go to their website. You see, almost all the nations that have had independence or have autonomy have all been part of UNPO. And let me tell you something that happened recently. At the 15th General Meeting of UNPO, 5 new members were welcomed. And among these 5 new members, 2 are from Nigeria. 2 are from Nigeria. I am glad they've been admitted, because you will appreciate what Ken Saro-Wiwa saw many years ago, and he was able to fix Ogoni somewhere, so that from there we can begin to expand our tentacles and make things better for ourselves. Among the 5 people, the 3rd people that were admitted, let me shock you, is Biafra. If you don't know, you know. Biafra has been admitted into UNPO. They are represented by MASOP and BIM, which is the Biafra Independence Movement, and the movement for the emancipation of MASOP, movement for what do they call it? For the sovereign state of Biafra. Yes, movement for the actualization of sovereign state of Biafra, MASOP and BIM. So the Biafrans have been admitted onto that platform. So you can see. So these people, I commend them for doing that, because it is a sign that nonviolent struggle is very important and has succeeded in many countries and has succeeded so well in the world. So Biafra is now accepted into UNPO. So kudos to Biafra. Number 2, the Yorubas have also been admitted. They are admitted under the Yoruba World Congress. That's the organization that represents them in UNPO, the Yoruba World Congress. So you can see that people are beginning to think of how they can survive as a people, how they can protect themselves as a people. Then you will now realize that Ken Saro-Wiwa was a wise man. He wasn't a foolish man. That what he started far back in the early 90s, this year makes 30 good years, since 1990 up to 2020. 30 good years that we've been in this struggle. And by January 1993, on the 19th of January 1993, Ogoni people was admitted into UNPO. But after the death of Ken Saro-Wiwa, it looked as if our people, it looked as if our leaders don't know what to do with what we have. And that is why you see that Ogoni people looks as if we are still pursuing shadows instead of the real object. Instead of the real image to grab what we want, we are going after shadows, which is very, very bad. So I want Ogoni people to begin to think and understand that for Oduduwa and for Biafra to have joined, it means they are beginning to see something that is coming ahead, and they're beginning to appreciate what it is. So that should give you more courage that the road that you took almost 23 or that you took about 27 years ago or 30 years ago, that road, your brothers are beginning to ply that route again. It is something that we must hold tenaciously. It is something that we must appreciate. You see, if you don't protect your gifts, if you don't protect your time, then they will useless it and you will have nothing to show. Ogoni people, as a people, we must protect our environment. We must protect our people. We must protect ourselves. We must ensure that what we wrote in the Ogoni Bill of Rights is actualized. So I don't want to talk much today, but I just want to break this news that our brothers, the Biafrans and the Yorubas, they are now into Ompo. So kudos to them. So we must understand that it is not a place where we joke. It is a place where we stand and open your tentacles and spread. And we should stop pursuing shadow and follow the real deal, the real thing. So Ogoni people, self-preservation. Self-preservation. We must preserve Ogoni. Because if you allow your environment, look, you don't even have good water to drink because it's contaminated. So how can you preserve it for your children and for other generations that will come after us? If you don't do something now, who will do it? You see, there is one funny thing that people keep saying. They say, don't worry, what will happen will happen. God will do it. My brothers and sisters, God will not jump from heaven